Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Dukefield Group Greener Schools, Brighter Futures Climate Action Planning for 2025 webinar. I'm Claire Makin, Procurement and Development Manager at Dukefield Group, and we've supported education providers for over 25 years through a wide variety of solutions delivered by our four businesses: Dukefield Food Service, Dukefield Energy, Dukefield Print Solutions, and Dukefield Procurement. Dukefield Group contract manage a diverse range of product and solution-led frameworks. We also provide procurement consultancy, energy management services, and an extensive range of catering support, which can assist you in running self-managed catering operations. We will shortly introduce our guest speaker, Kenza, from Brook Green Supply, a supplier on the National Education Framework for the provision of utility supply and energy management solutions. Ahead of this, I'm going to hand over to Matt Mooney, the Assistant Energy Manager at Dukefield Energy. Over to you, Matt.
Thanks, Claire. Morning, everyone. And again, welcome to the webinar. So as Claire mentioned, I'm Matt Mooney, the Assistant Energy Manager at Dukefield Energy. So I'm just here to give you a brief overview of ourselves and the framework we manage on behalf of the University of Essex. So at Dukefield Energy, we've been providing energy consultancy services for over 25 years now, with a primary focus on the public sector. So we provide a compliant route to market via the University of Essex hosted National Education Framework, but despite the name, this is available to all organisations, all public sector organisations. So the framework is actually made up of 4 lots, and the ones relevant to today's webinar are lots 1, 2 and 4. They are electric supply, gas supply and energy management solutions. And I'll provide a bit more detail on energy management solutions in a slide's time. But our guest speakers today, Brook Green, they are a supplier on all 3 of those lots. So at Dukefield Energy, our aim is to provide an end-to-end service of your energy needs. Oh, sorry, Kenza, could you just go back 1 slide, please? Thank you, Kenza. So it's just to provide end-to-end service of your energy needs, and through our experience and working closely with our customers, we try to make this as simple as possible for you. So as you can see on this slide, it's just a bit of a step-by-step of how we go about the procurement process. So it's like a 4-stage approach. So firstly, we look to hold a meeting with yourselves just to get a good idea of what you require and your priorities on your sustainability journey, and then look to formulate a strategy on the back of that. So this could be like your green energy, if you want AMRs, particular payment terms, as it says on the 4th bullet point. So then secondly is like the information gathering stage. So getting your supply information, your site information, meter, numbers, all that sort of stuff. And then we'll look to compile that in a format, and we will send that over to the relevant framework suppliers. And then when it's over to the suppliers, they will provide quotes to us. The 5 to 7 days detailed there is more relevant to the electric supply and gas supply contracts. The energy management solutions could take a bit longer depending on what service you're looking at on that. And then after that, the final stage is providing you with the quotes, and they are no obligation, and we'll try and provide them in as easy as to understand format as possible, and then look to have like a follow-up meeting on the back of that just to discuss things further and answer any questions. Just that final slide, please, Kenza. So as I said, yeah, this is just some of the stuff that is covered on the energy management solutions lot. So this includes like the installation of solar PV, heat pumps, wind generators and EV charging points. So the energy efficiency solutions, that covers stuff like LED lighting, for example. And then the energy management consultancy services cover stuff like energy audits and so on. Like I say, it was just a quick brief overview of ourselves. The main point of this today was to look at climate action plans, which Kenza's going to go through now. So I'll pass you over to Kenza at Brook Green.
Thank you so much, Matt. Hi, everyone. I'm Kenza, and I'll be talking to you about the Climate Action Plan. So I'll give you a little bit of a presentation, and we'll answer all your questions at the end. So this is the agenda of today. I'll give a little introduction on who I am and what Blue Green is. I'll give some context on the UK decarbonization targets and why they're very important for today's presentation. I'll talk about the Climate Action Plan, which is why we're here today, what it is, what it entails, and how to get engaged. Then I'll talk about energy and educational facilities, and how that's important for decarbonization. Then I'll talk about the challenges of decarbonization in education. I'll talk about some of the greening energy solutions that we provide at Blue Green Supply and some potential areas to cost save. So hi everyone, I'm Kenza Ben Abdallah. I'm an energy solutions analyst at Blue Green Supply. Just a couple of weeks ago, I graduated from UCL. I got my master's in energy systems and data analytics. So my responsibilities are to guide customers in the decarbonization journey, to gather, analyze, and model their customer data, and to deliver actionable insights. So my purpose is really like to support a meaningful change, especially in areas that I'm passionate about, like renewable energy and decarbonization. This is Blue Green. So we're a market-leading INC supplier. We supply electricity and gas to a very diverse portfolio of industrial and commercial customers all across the UK. We're the 7th biggest industrial and commercial customer supplier in the UK. And what we are most proud of is that we have really good relations with our customers. We offer way more than just supply, we offer guidance, and this is why we're here today. I thought it would be very important and interesting to talk about the decarbonization plan of the UK, as everything is tied up to it. So the main thing to keep in mind and the most important goal of the decarbonization plan of the UK is to reach net zero by 2050. And for that, they're aiming to build 50 gigawatts of offshore wind capacity by 2030. They're phasing out of gas boilers, scaling up on heat pumps. They're trying to ensure that all new cars and vans are zero emissions by 2035. Just last year, we phased out of coal. They're trying to reduce emissions by 78% by 2035. All of this to say that we have very, very ambitious goals and targets to reach. And for all of this to be possible, any sector in the UK needs to be part of it and has a role to play. So this is where you're coming. So we think that education is actually very important to decarbonization here in the UK and everywhere in the world for many reasons. First of all, and most importantly, because education is a climate multiplier. So you have the ability to shape values, skills, and behaviors of entire generations, and you can lead by example. Additionally, campuses are actually carbon hotspots due to their large sizes. They contribute significantly to emissions, so they're pretty important to decarbonization in general. And finally, because there is a big learning opportunity in climate action, where you can influence and lead by example, incentivize your curricula, research, and student project in getting involved in climate action. So the Climate Action Plan was initiated by the Department for Education, and its aim is really to engage the entire education setting to turn planning into action. The two main goals by 2025, so by this year, are 1, to nominate a sustainability lead, and 2, to develop and implement a climate action plan. So the purpose of the Climate Action Plan is to act on sustainability, obviously, and to also educate on climate change and to build resilience and reduce environmental impact. There are 4 areas that should be covered in your climate action plan. The first one is calculating and taking action to reduce carbon emissions. So there are 3 scopes that you need to calculate. The scope 1 is direct emissions that are owned by your facility, such as gas boilers. The scope 2 are indirect emissions, so that's from power. And the scope 3 are all other indirect emissions from the facility value chain. So for example, students commuting to school. Also, adaptation and resilience to climate change. You also need to focus on improving the environment and biodiversity. And finally, you need climate education and start building up on your green careers. Actually, there are no expectations on where you should store your climate action plan, but the Department for Education really encourages you to publish those climate action plan on your website, so you can get more engagement from the parents, from the students, and from anybody in the community, and also encourage other schools and other educational facilities to do the same. As I talked earlier, you need to nominate a sustainability lead about this year. And there are many reasons why this is important. First one is because it can increase confidence and expertise in your leadership, in the staff and learners, and also in students. The sustainability lead can help understand climate change and show how, like, you as an educational facility can have a positive impact. It will also help create a culture that prioritizes sustainability, as it shows that it is important in your values. It will help share effective practice with other education settings. The sustainability lead will help use your data to prioritize and identify the places where you need to take action. It will help calculate your carbon emissions, like I talked about earlier. And finally, hopefully, it will help reduce operation costs. So your sustainability lead can be a group of people or a single individual that will be responsible for the development of your climate action plan. Best practice has showed that it is best when delivered by a diverse, large team of passionate individuals. But the most important thing is that your sustainability lead needs to have the authority and the capacity to influence and lead a strategic change within your setting. So it needs to be someone that already has some prior experience in sustainability or is curious about decarbonization. The Department for Education also gave a lot of different resources and programs that will help you with your climate action plan. So we have the Sustainability Support for Education, the Climate Ambassador Program, and the National Education Network Park, which I'll talk about here. So basically, the Sustainability Support for Education offers free expert advice, resources, and tools to support climate action planning and sustainability education. All you need to do is visit their website, create an account, create a climate action plan, basically use their platform to identify like the actions and milestones that you need to take. And you can even get access to climate ambassadors that will help you and give you support and advisory. Similarly, there's the Climate Ambassador Scheme, also initiated by the Department for Education, that will connect schools, colleges, and nursery with volunteer climate experts. So again, you can go on their website and sign up. And then you can request a climate ambassador. You'll be matched with a volunteer expert who understands your local context and sustainability goals. And they'll assess your current sustainability efforts and help you like find the next steps on your sustainability journey. And finally, there's the National Education Nature Parks, which aims to connect children and young people with nature by changing how school grounds are and making them more diverse, biodiverse, and more climate resilient. So again, you can sign up on their website, register. It's open to all schools and colleges, and it will give you access to resources, training, and mapping tools. So you can engage with students in nature-based learning, help them participate in community science, biodiversity monitoring, and some outdoor activities related to climate change. If eligible, you can also apply for funding. So some of these schools can apply for grants to fund some nature-based projects that you may have. So it all actually is tied up to energy. This is why we're here, because decarbonization cannot be done without energy. So Brook Green Supply actually uses a broad range of measures to help our customers adapt and benefit from the transition to renewable energy. From our conversations with our customers in the education setting and with Dukefield, we understood what are the main challenges that come with decarbonization of education. The first one is having an unclear planning pathway. A lot of schools say that it's difficult turning climate goals into actions because they have limited internal expertise and they don't know where to start, basically. Also because there is a lack of carbon data and reporting tools. So some schools struggle to measure and report emissions accurately, which is one of the most important things that you need to do when you start a climate action plan. And finally, and most importantly, the sustainability leads tend to be a bit overburdened. Unfortunately, sustainability is always an added responsibility and doesn't get a lot of support and doesn't get a lot of funding. So sometimes it's good for the sustainability leads to partner up and get some guidance from external sources. So this is where Brook Green Supply can deliver value. We can be here helping with the sustainability lead. We can offer expert guidance to develop and implement the climate action plan. We can offer trainings and workshops tailored to the needs of schools and colleges. We can offer ongoing support to align with the Department for Education sustainability goals. We also have a state-of-the-art model that will model your scope 1, scope 2 emissions on a half-hourly basis. So it doesn't get more granular than that. And we can help you with dashboard of these insights and help you with your regulatory frameworks. We can collaborate with your planning and help you set some realistic targets depending on where you're at in your journey. And finally, we can offer the products and services that you need to reduce or offset your carbon emissions and find those solutions for you. So to decarbonize power, there are three main types of decarbonization solutions that we talk about a lot at Brook Green Supply and that we help our customers with. First of all, there is on-site generations. So that's producing electricity directly at the point of use. So in the case of a school, it would be like building solar panels on the roofs or building like small wind turbine on the grounds. That helps decarbonize by producing renewable electricity at the point of use. We also have PPAs, which are power purchase agreements. They're a power contract between an electricity buyer and a specific renewable energy generator. So that supports decarbonization by enabling organizations to directly fund renewable energy projects. And finally, we have REGOs, which are renewable energy guarantees of origins. Those are certificates that prove that a certain amount of electricity was generated from a renewable source. So for every 1 megawatt hour of electricity consumed, it's matched with 1 megawatt hour of REGO certificate that can be used to prove that energy came from a renewable source. At Brook Green Supply, these are the types of REGOs that we offer. We have the fuel mix REGOs, wind, solar, and hydro and biomass. We have the deep green REGOs, which come from assets of wind, solar, and hydro. The biomass REGOs, which obviously come from a comprehensive range of biomass solutions. And finally, we have the RE100 REGOs that come from wind, solar, hydro, and assets that are less than 15 years old. These are the typical on-site solutions. As I talked about earlier, solar PV installations that enable schools to generate their own electricity that can significantly reduce emissions depending on the size of the solar panels. And it can also have long-term energy cost reduction. Battery storage systems, which allow schools to store excess renewable energy for the use during peak times and outages. And that's really important when it comes to energy resilience. And finally, we have combined heat and power, commonly known as CHPs. Those generate electricity and heat from a single fuel source, and that improved energy efficiency and reduce carbon emissions. And then we'll also talk about the three main types of decarbonization solutions for gas. So there is fuel switching, so using biofuels to replace natural gas or using green hydrogen, whether that be in heating or industrial processes as they produce lower emissions. We also use carbon credits, where companies invest in carbon offset projects that reduce or remove emissions elsewhere, compensating for gas emissions related. So for each credit, each credits represent 1 ton of emission that has been avoided or removed somewhere else. And that can be through planting trees, building wind farms, or protecting forests. And we also have renewable gas guarantees of origins. Those are RGGOs. They're the equivalent of REGOs, but for gas. So they're certificates that verify the production and injection of renewable gas. So for each RGGO, it represents 1 kilowatt hour of green gas produced. So by purchasing RGGOs, consumer can help fund and incentivize the production of renewable gas, and that displaces fossil fuels. I thought it was interesting to also look at the average electricity consumption profile of a school or an educational facility. So on the left side, we can see a 24-hour average power consumption profile of a school. And as you can see, the power consumption peaks happen in the morning, and it slowly drops down in the afternoon. And this is due to daytime activities because in schools, as you can imagine, everything happened during the day. This is where kids have classes, there are sports activities, labs are on. This is when things are happening. And at night, there is a very important drop where consumption is really low. And similarly, on the right, you can look at how consumption is actually really tied up to the academic calendar during the year. So during the holidays and breaks, there are important drops of energy consumption that is due to the students being away. And you can see that little drop in December time, which coincides with Christmas break. So I think this is important to notice and important to be aware of when you're trying to decarbonize a school, just to know what your power consumption profile looks like and how you can integrate renewable energy into that. And this is where Brew Green can help you with it. We have a team of experts that will look at your data and that will forecast it and that will be able to tell you which bespoke product types are best for your own case. So finally, I thought it was also very important to talk about costs because I appreciate that decarbonization can come at an important cost. At Brew Green Supply, we closely follow energy markets to understand the opportunities and the risks of long-term price risks, and we try to offer optimized procurement options for all our customers. We also know that PPAs can provide access to cheaper energy resources and potentially lower their costs in the long run. Similarly, on-site solutions like we talked about, wind turbines and solar panels can provide stable source of energy, which can help schools avoid the volatility of energy prices. And the excess energy produced by wind turbines and solar panels can also be sold back to the grid. And finally, battery storage can store the excess energy generated during low demand periods and release it during peak times. So thank you so much. I hope this was useful and informative. And if you have any questions and want to reach out, please reach out to Dukefield. They'll be happy to connect us.
Wonderful. Thanks very much, Kenza. If anyone does have any questions, a Q&A box is enabled. So we'll wait for a moment to see if any questions come through.
Thank you.
And whilst we're waiting for the questions, just to say I will be sharing a copy of the recording. So you'll have all the notes and all the links where you can go for additional support with climate action plans. We're very happy to make introductions for you to Kenza and the team at Brook Green Supply. And again, we'll share out our contact details so you can let us know on that. Okay, we've got a question for you, Kenza. What are the funding options for these energy solutions? Example, solar. What are a small multi-academy trust? They are a small multi-academy trust and they can't afford to fund these projects themselves.
That's a very interesting question. To be honest, we're not really part of anything that's funding related. I can look at that on my own, but I'm sure the government must have some type of fundings for that.
Yeah. Okay, we can share the details when we share the slides out on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so another question, are there monthly payment options for energy solutions?
I believe so. Sam, do you have an answer for that?
Sam? Oh, Sam, are you able to?
Yeah,
oh, there we go.
Can you hear me? Yes, we can offer monthly payment solutions as per the contracts that we agree with yourselves. We can look to provide examples of this as we progress.
Fantastic. Another question, are there any legal expectations for reductions for schools on energy use?
Not so far. It seems like it's just the start of a bigger project. I think it's really like setting some goals and having that, more structured than anything.
Okay. So do you know when actions like that, such as expectations, are likely to come into place?
Not yet.
No.
They haven't released any of that information.
Okay, fantastic. There we go. Okay, I think that's it for the questions now. I will share around the additional information when we share out the webinar with you. And our contact details will be on there as well. But please feel free to get back in touch should you require any additional information. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.